Okay, another mixture problem, and this is a little bit different. This is an evaporation problem. So how much water was evaporated from 8 liters of a 25% salt solution to produce a solution that was 40% salt? So we're going to actually make our solution more concentrated, but not by adding more salt, but by removing the water, removing some water from it. And we could cook it down a little bit. Sometimes if you have a sauce and you want to get it thicker, you just cook it down a little bit, and when you open the top, the steam comes out. That's the water evaporating. So you're making it a little bit thicker. So we're going to do this by evaporation. So we're going to start with a 25% solution. And we're going to take out some water. And we want to end up with a 40% solution. I'll try to do my values and fill in everything I can first. So the value of the 25% solution would be 0.25. Salt. So 25% of that is salt. And we start with 8 liters. Remember, these multiply across, so we're going to have 0.25 times 8. Or 1/4 of 8, which is actually just 2 liters of salt. 25% is a fourth, so a fourth of 8 is 2. So we've got 2 liters of salt. Okay? And the value that we want to end up with is 0.40. So we know that. And the the water we're going to evaporate, that has no salt in it, hopefully. It's regular water, so it's 0%. 0. Okay, so is that all I get from my information? So that's all the stuff I can read from the table. So I'm going to remove the water. So instead of adding, these things usually add down, but in this case it's going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract X liters of water. So I'm going to have less water, but I'll still have the same amount of salt. I'll still have the 2 liters of salt. And once we do that, then we can come up with this other box. So remember, these boxes, all these boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the 12 boxes you can get just by reading the problem. So you fill those in. And then we just have to figure out what's going on. So we're going to subtract. So that's going to be 8 minus X. And that's how many liters we're going to have of the solution that will be 40% salt. And then we can just multiply across on these. So again, once you have these boxes, then and you get these 2 boxes, these are the ones that you have to work at, then you just multiply across. So it becomes very easy with your data organized. So we got 0, so I'm not really changing anything here, and I'm going to have 0.40 times 8 minus X. And this is minus. Doesn't really matter because I'm subtracting 0. So 40% of 8 minus this much water will be 2 liters or 25% of 8. So there's your equation. So it's pretty easy. And some of you could do this without using a table. You could do it intuitively, and that's all right. I just try to use the table for all the problems because this table will work for all the problems, all the types of problems. So here's our equation. 0.25 times 8 equals 0.40 times 8 minus X. And then we'll multiply both sides by 100. So we get 25 times 8 equals 40 times 8 minus X. And then 25 times 8 is 200. And 40 times 8 is going to be 320. Minus 40x. And then I'll subtract 320 from both sides. and I'll end up with negative 120 equals negative 40x. We always have to end up with a positive amount, so these double negatives help. So divide both sides by negative 40. And x equals 40 goes into 123 times. So it's going to be 3 liters. So I'll have to evaporate 3 liters. And any of these problems you can always check out what's going on. And so 40% of my 3 liters, 40% of my 8 minus 3 liters, or 40% of 5 liters should equal 25% of 8, which is 2. All right. That makes sense, all right. 10% of 5 is 0.5. 4 times that would be 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, which would be 2. So it checks out, so you can check it out easily. All right. So 40% of my 5, because we started with 8 liters. 8 minus 3 is 5. So it checks out. Okay. And like I said, some of these you could do intuitively. You may not use need the tables, but they'll work for all the mixture problems. So any of you that have any kind of, insecurities about that, the table makes everything real easy.